welcome to Life Class with Ayum. Today I'm going to be speaking on what I title The Power of Small Changes. The Power of Small Changes. This month I've been speaking on the subject of change. I've done a couple of videos before today. So if you missed any of those videos, I want to encourage you to visit the videos library on our Facebook page or visit our YouTube channel, because I believe you are going to be tremendously blessed. It's going to lay a background for what I'm talking about today. So the power of small changes. Many times in life, we despise small things. We despise little things because when you look at maybe the big idea you have in your mind, you look at the big vision you have, you look at the big dream that you have, and then you look at the small things around you, you wonder, how can these small things make this big thing to happen? And many times we just sit back because we actually just get we get discouraged when we look at the small things around us because we think it cannot amount to much. But today I'm here with a word of encouragement for you about the power of small changes. When we want to do something big, you just discover that every big thing starts small. Every big thing starts small. If you want to see a big change, a massive change in your life, you need to be willing to start small. And because of this, our tendency as human beings to always despise small things, the Bible makes us to understand in Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10, the first part of it says, "Who has despised the days of small things?" Who has despised the days of small things? And that is because as humans, we have the tendency to despise small things. But I'm here to tell you today that don't despise small things. Don't overlook small beginnings. Don't despise small changes, because every big change, every massive thing that you see around today starts small. Look at that gigantic building around you. You'll find that it starts by laying one brick upon the other, starting small. And because they were consistent, because they built on that small thing, it became something big. So whatever dream that you have in your heart, I want to tell you that if you are willing to start small, you will see that dream materialize. Whatever change you want to see in your life, if you are willing to start making little adjustments, you will see that change happen in your life. Small things always accumulate to big things. I was reading a book recently, and the person asked a question. The person said, "How much do you think you will have after 31 days if you are multiplying 1 penny every day?" And in my mind, I was like, I don't think it will amount to much. 1 penny. How much is a penny? How much will it amount to? And then he went on to give the answer. And then he said, if you have 1 penny and you begin to multiply it consistently every day for 31 days, at the end of 31 days, you will have over 21 million. And I was like, what? That is ridiculous. How is that possible? And I pulled out my spreadsheet and I decided to work it out. And I found that if you have a penny today, you multiply it. Maybe tomorrow you have 2 penny, you multiply the following day, you multiply that 2 penny, becomes 4, you multiply that 4, it becomes 8, you multiply 8, it becomes 16, you multiply 16, it becomes 32, and you continue like that, multiplying whatever result you have at the end of each day. After 31 days, you are going to have over 21 million pounds. And I was like, wow. And honestly, that shook me because it really opened my eyes to see how starting small, doing something small and being committed to it, being consistent in it can amount to big thing. Like they saying in the world that a journey of a thousand miles starts with one step. Everything that we want to do in life, you need to be willing to start small. You need to be willing to take a step, because in taking that little step, it will accumulate and it will become much. And that is why they talk about the compounding effect. Because when you do something small and you consistently do it, you are compounding its effect. And at the end of the day, it's beginning to form something big. Think of saving a little amount. Like a couple of years ago, I just put myself to say, okay, let me be saving one little amount every month. And after a year, I was surprised how much it amounted to. Because usually, maybe I want to do something and I look at the amount and I say, no, this is too much. I don't know. Maybe I will not be able to afford this. And because of that, maybe you put it aside. But just think of opening an account that you just forget about, and you're even putting 1 penny or maybe 1 naira, whatever, and just forget about it. And look at it after a couple of years. You'll be amazed how much it has accumulated to. So I'm telling you that there is power in smallness. There is power in smallness. And that is why God himself encourages us that we should not despise the days of small beginnings. Don't despise the days of small beginnings. A lot of people sit back and they don't do anything with their life because they are looking for somebody to help them. They're looking for that big breakthrough. And when they don't see that drastic change in their circumstance, they feel as if God does not care about them. But God is using me to bring a word to you today that little that you have, don't despise it. Start with it. Start doing something with it. And you'll be amazed at how much it will become. And when we bring it closer to our life and we want to change in an area of our life, take for instance in your relationship, you want to improve your relationship because maybe all the while you just found that you've not been able to maintain relationship, you're always falling out with people. And then you tell yourself, okay, just in a little area, maybe in the way I talk to people, I'm going to start adjusting my tone. I'm going to just start learning to just hold myself back a bit and not speak rashly. And just start with a little change. Maybe I'll start with 1 person a day. Let me work on not being rash to 1 person in a day. And be consistent with it. Only just 1 person in a day. Maybe I can't deal with more than that. Let me just start with 1. You'll be amazed at how your relationship will begin to improve. I've experienced how smallness can amount to much in many areas of my life. And I'm here to tell you today that don't despise small things. Don't always wait for big changes because big changes can be overwhelming. But when we start small, it's empowering because when you do that little thing, you will see the result. It will encourage you to do more. And then the more you do it, the more it multiplies in your life. So there is power in smallness. There is power in small changes. And even that bad habit that you want to stop, you can start in a small way. I know some people have some maybe bad habits, some bad addictions that they want to stop. You can start like drawing back from it gradually. And before you know what is happening, the little steps that you are taking will just bring big changes in your life. In the areas of your health, okay, somebody is thinking of, okay, I need to exercise for maybe 1 hour every day. And you know that I can't do that. But I can take a walk for at least 15 minutes a day. So there are some little things you can do. And I can tell you that if you begin to take a walk, instead of maybe instead of driving to everywhere you want to go to, it's okay, I'll park my car and just walk here. Or instead of taking the bus and dropping at my bus stop, I'll drop a bus stop before my bus stop and then walk the rest of the distance. You find that little exercise that you are doing, give yourself 1 month, give yourself a year. You'll be surprised at how many calories you have been able to shed off by that little exercise. So I'm here to tell you that don't despise small things. Don't despise any small gift you have in your hand. Don't despise any small talent you have. Don't despise small changes because every big thing starts with a small change. Every big thing starts with a small change. There's a scripture I want to read for us from Exodus chapter 23, verse 39 and 30. Exodus 23, verse 29 and 30. Reading from the Berean Study Bible, it says, God is speaking there to the Israelites. It says, I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the wild beasts multiply against you. Little by little, I will drive them out ahead of you until you become fruitful and possess the land. What is God telling us here? God has made a promise to the Israelites when he was bringing them out of Egypt that he was going to give them the land of Canaan as a promised land. But this was the Israelites now approaching the land of Canaan. But God told them that The land of Canaan at this time had people that were living in it, and those people needed to be wiped out before the Israelites can occupy the land. But God told them that I'm not going to wipe them all out at once. I'm going to be driving them out little by little. Based on your size right now, I will drive a portion of them out so I can occupy the land. The more you multiply, the more I'll chase the other people away so that you can occupy the land. And the reason God said he was not going to drive the Canaanites out at once was because he said if he does that, the land become desolate. The Israelites will not be able to cultivate the land. They will not be able to inhabit the whole land. And then wild animals now will occupy the land and they can devour the Israelites. And that is what happens when we don't want to start small. We want something big. If the change you are looking for in your life, that drastic change, if it happens, will you be able to handle it? If that big breakthrough that you are believing God for, if God gives it to you, will you be able to handle it? If you've not handled maybe like 10,000 pounds or maybe 100,000 naira or whatever currency that obtains in your country, if you've not been able to handle it and God begins to deliver millions into your hand, will you be able to handle it? And so when God is even delivering promises to us, he delivers it to us sometimes little by little, so that the more we get conversant with it, the more we are able to utilize it properly, the more he will make that to multiply, the more he will increase his blessings upon us. So if God, in his own infinite wisdom, does not just deliver all the blessings to us at once, then don't we think that if you also begin to utilize the small things that are at your disposal, if you begin to make those small changes in your life, don't you think that it will amount to much at the end of the day? And I can tell you that definitely it will amount to much. It will amount to much. So let us not despise the days of little beginnings. Let us not despise small things. Okay, in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 11 and verse 10 and 11, the NIV translation says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. So if you can imagine that a little sleep and a little rest will make poverty and scarcity to overtake you, what do you think will happen if you also turn it around and you say, okay, a little hard work, a little diligence, a little change of attitude, what will that amount to in my life? And I can tell you that just the same way that a little negative thing will make the negative to overcome you, a little change in attitude, a little positive change will also make prosperity and success to also overtake you. So I just want to encourage you, don't despise small things. Don't despise small things, because that big thing that you want, that big dream that you want, will happen when you start small. It will happen when you start small. And that drastic change that you need in your life starts with small changes. So let's get committed with making small changes. From this moment, make up your mind that if any area that you want a change right now, focus on it and say, in this area, I'm going to begin to just do this little adjustment every day. If it's in the area of improving, maybe you want to just improve your knowledge and say, okay, if it's 15 minutes every day, I'm going to start setting out 15 minutes a day to read. You'll be amazed that in a month or in 2 months, you finished a book. You that could hardly finish a book before, now you are beginning to finish a book. You are beginning to get knowledge from that book that you are reading. And just those kind of little adjustments will bring great changes in your life. So I don't know the area that you need a big breakthrough right now. I don't know the area that you need a big change, but I want to encourage you, don't despise small changes. Don't despise small things. Begin small, and God, in his infinite mercy and in his faithfulness, will multiply that small things and make it big for you in Jesus' name. Before I go, I just want to leave out this quote by Aaron Ross that says, take any step, whether small or large, and then another, and repeat day after day. It may take months, maybe years, but the path to success will become clear. Take any step. So whatever is in your mind to do right now, just take any step. And whether it's a large step or it's a big step, but just take that small step and then be consistent with it. Just keep taking that small step every day. And you'll be surprised that after a couple of months, after a couple of years, you'll be amazed at what it will amount to. So that is just all I have for you today. I like to keep this very brief because I know everybody is busy. So thank you so much for joining me. Next week, Saturday, at 1 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be having a program which I call Live Chat with Ayum. This is a monthly thing I do the last Saturday of every month, where I bring in a guest or a couple of guests and we discuss on the subject that I'm talking about that month. So this month I'm talking about change, and I'm going to be having two guests with me next week that we're going to be discussing this practically, areas that we have had to deal with change in our life, the challenges we've had, the breakthroughs we've had. And you have an opportunity to also come and contribute when you join us live. So please save the date and make sure that you join us next week for Live Chat with Ayum. Until then, I just want to say God bless you, and may God continue to strengthen you and empower you. And as you make up your mind from today not to despise small things or small changes, God himself will multiply those little efforts that you put in, and he will make it big for you. And he will cause those dreams and the desires of your heart to come to pass because you are committed to small changes. God bless you.